I would say about 99% of average gym goers waste potentially hundreds, maybe thousands of hours on abdominal exercises that do virtually nothing over the course of their lifetime. And the reason is pretty much fitness indoctrination. I remember over the last 20 years or so, you would see the newest ab roller or ab machine that you can, buy online or buy off TV from those infomercials. And it would talk about sculpting and toning your abs with this new device, blah, blah, blah. And I think what happened was it made people believe that you need to do something differently or something special to work your abdominal muscles or to make them more visible. Now, the truth is, abdominal exercises, no matter what they are going to do very, 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 very little for the appearance of your abdominals, and nothing for the appearance of your abdominals, your midsection, your abs, whatever the hell you want to call it, your tummy. They will do nothing for the appearance of that area if your body fat is too high. And you see all over the internet, you see these fitness influencers that are juiced out of their mind with a combination of unusually good genetics, very lean, teaching all these absolutely ridiculous, inefficient, relatively ineffective ab exercises, trying to convince you that they're going to give you a six-pack. The truth is, they're not. Okay? So, I figured since me rambling in my car in the last video did pretty good, I figured I'd do it again. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about ab exercises, what you need to do, and how not to waste your time doing bullshit. All right? Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell, blah, blah, blah. If you find this information useful, which it will be if you use this information. Okay? Now, first of all, how do we improve the appearance of our midsection or make our abs visible or get a six-pack? First of all, you don't get a six-pack. You have a six-pack. Or you might. Whether or not you have a four-pack or a really defined six-pack or even an extremely rare eight-pack has nothing to do with your training and everything to do with your genetics. The rectus abdominis is the most superficial muscle in your midsection, or what people refer to as the abs. This muscle, which is a single muscle, they are not individual muscles. The muscle has what are referred to as tendinous inscriptions running horizontally and one running vertically. The shape of these tendinous inscriptions is determined by your genetics. You cannot change the shape of them. You may notice some people kind of have wavy abs, some people have very straight abs, some people have very fucked up shaped abs. You can't change this. No type of training, no amount of training, nothing is going to change this. Okay? So the appearance of your abdominals, once your body fat is low enough, is genetically predetermined. Okay, so the rectus abdominis becomes visible when the amount of fat above them, covering them up, is reduced. And this is entirely achieved through a reduction in your caloric intake in creating a negative energy balance for a long enough period of time to reduce the overall body fat that your body is carrying, which will eventually make your abdominals visible. One myth that will not seem to die is the myth of localized fat reduction, or more commonly referred to as spot reduction. There are still some people, due to this, commercialization of exercise, who believe that doing exercises for a particular area of the body will reduce the fat in that area. That is simply physiologically false. So abdominal exercises will not, they can not reduce significant amounts of body fat on your midsection and make your abdominals visible. Otherwise, you would probably see people with ripped abs, fat legs, and fat arms. And I don't know about you, but I've never seen such an individual. Okay? So we need to reduce the overall amount of body fat our body is carrying. And the most effective and efficient way to do this is simply creating an environment of a negative energy balance through calorie restriction. Eating less calories than your body requires to maintain its bodily functions and maintain its body mass. So that way, the additional energy that your body needs is pulled from metabolizing adipose tissue or fat cells. If you are not inputting enough energy into your system to maintain the current body mass or bodily functions that your body requires energy for, the energy needs to come from somewhere. And that is why you have fat tissue. The adipose cells, the fat cells, are filled with triglycerides, which are metabolized or mobilized outside of your fat cells into free fatty acids and a glycerol molecule. And then your body's cells use the fatty acids for metabolic processes. And this happens when most efficiently, most effectively, when you are not eating enough calories. Now, it is true that you can potentially produce this environment of too much energy output, not enough energy input through physical activity, but the amount of external energy output that you can produce through exercise or burning calories is extremely exaggerated. Number one. Number two, it's ridiculously inefficient. Why would someone spend 1 to 2 hours doing physical activity to burn the calories off when you could just not put them in? To me, it seems obvious that if you're getting the same negative energy balance, it's a lot easier to just restrict your calories. Okay? So, in order to make your abs visible, the number one thing you should be focused on is reducing the amount of body fat your body has overall, and eventually the midsection will become more visible. Now, the abdominal exercises, of course, are not going to do anything for this, and we'll get into what purpose the abdominal exercises serve in a little bit. Now, very obese individuals, however, this is a problem with becoming too fat. If you become too fat, you will have a lot of excess skin in that area. So even if you get down to very low, well, not very low, but low enough levels of body fat to expose your rectus abdominis or your abs, they may not be as visible because you stretched your skin out too much and excess skin is covering them. This is why if you're starting to gain weight right now, you should do something now because if you're a male and you get up to 240, 250, 260, 300 pounds, it is unlikely that your skin is going to essentially tighten after you lose all that weight to make your abs look really good. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No. Okay. This is why you don't want to get too fat. So, diet number 1. How should you choose an abdominal exercise? You may have heard me say in other videos, when choosing an appropriate exercise, you want to simply identify the muscle group you are trying to work and identify its functions. From there, you choose in many cases, one of the muscle's functions, and create or choose an exercise that provides resistance against its functions. All right, so we're talking about the abs. What is one of the functions of the rectus abdominis? It's trunk flexion, like doing a crunch, or lumbar flexion. So choosing an exercise that provides resistance against that movement or that function will train your abs quite effectively. Something like a sit-up or a crunch, rather, not a sit-up, a crunch. A abdominal machine. Pretty much any abdominal machine that flexes your trunk. Anything that flexes your trunk against resistance is going to be a good exercise. Now, some exercises may be more efficient than others, some may be safer than others, some you may prefer more than others. Honestly, I prefer my Nautilus Nitro abdominal machine to a crunch. Will it work better than a crunch? Well, no, not necessarily. Because how effective an exercise has mostly to do with the amount of effort you put into the exercise and not so much to do with which exercise it is. So you can choose pretty much anything that flexes the trunk. Now, there are exercises which involve the abs, something like a plank, leg raises. You could even do a leg raise very high, which, will flex the trunk, which are also fine. But you should look at the abdominal muscles like any other muscle group because they are still skeletal muscle. Just like your biceps, just like your chest, just like your quads, the abdominals are skeletal muscle and they should be trained just like all the other skeletal muscle in your body. Now, once you've found an exercise that addresses the function of the muscle, like a sit-up, a crunch, an ab machine, whatever, you do not need to do a variety of other exercises to maximize the stimulation on those muscles. 1, maybe 2 exercises to aggressively fatigue and stress the rectus abdominis is all you need. Anything more than that is a complete waste of your time at best, and at worst can potentially lead to reduced benefit in the form of overtraining. So many people will do an ab workout with all these stupid movements under the impression that they're sculpting and toning. You do not need an ab workout. You need an ab exercise. More volume, more exercises, more reps, more sets is not going to give you a better result in terms of abdominal definition. And in most cases, it's going to do the opposite if you're doing it with any sort of effort at all. So, what else? So choose whichever exercise you like do it intensely. And what that is going to do is stimulate the muscle for improved muscular strength. So essentially, abdominal exercises, they're not improving the visibility of your abdominals. They are improving the strength of them. As a side effect of muscular strength, you will have muscular hypertrophy or growth with the addition of contractile elements, which allows the muscle to produce more force. But the problem, the abdominal muscle group, they don't grow that much. Believe it or not, they're actually quite thin. And the rectus abdominis is not capable of significant hypertrophy or growth. So abdominal exercises, they should be done because you should work all major muscle groups of your body, but they should not be done for the improved visibility of your midsection, but for the improved strength of the rectus abdominis and other muscles in your trunk. Okay? So just a quick recap. If you're trying to get abs for the summer, the most important thing you should focus on is a negative energy balance, reducing your calorie intake, or dieting. Number 2, do not waste your time doing dozens of ab exercises, eventually accumulating to hours of your time for the misinformed assumption that it's going to get you ripped abs, because you will be literally wasting your time. Choose an exercise that addresses the function of the abdominals. Trunk flexion. You could even do a plank. The problem with a plank is that it's going to heavily involve your shoulders and other muscles that may interfere with how hard your abs work. So while it is an okay exercise, you ideally want an exercise that works the abs without the involvement of other muscles to a high degree, which is why an ab machine or a crunch is better. Those are 2 things you got to worry about. Also, to a degree, water retention will cover them up, but that's only if you're lean enough anyway. Now you might be wondering about the obliques. The obliques are another superficial muscle group that will be visible if your body fat is low enough. But again, you do not need a gazillion different exercises to train them. The obliques, they twist your trunk like this. So a rotary exercise or a machine or those abdominal twist exercises done to failure, very close to it. That's all you need for that too. So you could do a trunk twisting machine, which most gyms have, and an abdominal machine. Do them with high amounts of intensity, and you're done. Move on. Any additional exercises that you throw in there thinking it's going to speed things up, you're going to be wasting your time. And if you value your time, which, I don't know, so, when I was late teens, early 20s, I had a lot of time. I could waste it. So if you fall in this age group and you want to do a gazillion exercises, go for it. But if you're an individual that's got stuff to do, don't waste your time, because you don't get any of it back. It is literally a limited resource. And that is why all these long, silly, ridiculous ab workouts are stupid. Okay? Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, the bell. And if you would like me to personally coach you and give you the best results you've ever seen by taking several weeks to teach you how to train your muscles as more intensely than you could ever literally imagine, click the link below. And I will put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle on you within about 8 to 12 weeks. Happens all the time. See you next time.